Hi, and welcome back to David Pattinson's Accused Friends. I did a video recently about imagining a new political party in Great Britain, and it was about introducing much more competition into our democracy. And I'm not sure if the Competition Commission has seen that and can look into the abuses of monopoly power in Westminster, where the major political parties look to keep competition out rather than embrace it and widen the scope of dialogue and debate within our democracy. They don't tend to do that. Our political industry is very, very interested in preventing competition rather than embracing competition. And so in this video, what I wanted to do is imagine a specific anti-lockdown political party and come up with some ideas about how their policy platform would look. And I think I've been looking in the news, you probably would have seen over the course of, I think it was the start of this week, that Japan had gotten rid of all its, it wasn't a lockdown, but it was its sort of virus restrictions and virus recommendations. And it said in the news that the Japanese constitution specifically forbade lockdowns of any kind, and I thought our Bill of Rights specifically forbade that as well. But obviously, it's the interpretation of the language about we can't have endless bail and we can't have unlawful detention. Is interpreted differently by me compared to the British government. So I thought, when the new anti-lockdown party takes power, we should take the Japanese, the anti-lockdown language in the Japanese constitution, translate it into English and put it in ours. And for the purposes of this video, I'm imagining that the anti-lockdown party would be all about re-establishing and reinforcing our existing Bill of Rights, adding a couple more to strengthen it, and then inviting Queen Elizabeth down to Runnymede for the signing ceremony. And, I think that would be a great vision to work towards, and I think it's something a lot of the British people could get behind. So the existing Bill of Rights is what we have. It was signed in 1689 by William of Orange, and I think through this lockdown period, William of Orange would have been turning in his grave pretty much the whole time. What I want to have, as well as reinforcing our existing Bill of Rights, is obviously the no lockdown policy, at any time. Obviously, I thought we had that, but obviously we don't. And enshrining that into law would be the number one goal of the anti-lockdown party. The next thing we want to do is define healthcare as the responsibility of the citizen, not the government. The government doesn't need to get involved in saving any more lives. British people will take care of their own life, and it really will be my body, my choice. So that's going to be second thing on the list. Next thing is we want to have this digital Bill of Rights, which is something I've been talking about for quite a bit of time. We want to have our online technology filters to be controlled within Great Britain, not in the United States and not in foreign countries. We're going to control our own internet platforms. People can definitely go and visit websites from other countries, but for our free speech protections, we need to be controlling the internet platforms. We're also going to have citizens prosecution groups that can prosecute the government for criminal behaviour, and it's not going to be something that's difficult. It's going to be something that's easy. If members of the government break the law, they're going to be taken to court very, very swiftly, within a matter of a few days. It's not going to be something that drags on for years and years, and they can answer the charges against them. Another thing I want to have is to ban government ministers threatening the British people. And people say, well, look, David Hancock does it every day. Why can't, political parties or political leaders of the future do it? We're going to ban all that. If you're a government member of the government that goes on TV and threatens the British people, you're going to be censured immediately. And, I don't know exactly what that's going to involve, but it's going to be pretty serious. So, for future political leaders, threatening the British people will not be tolerated. We also want to reinforce our rights during public discourse. And what I mean by that is if you're a police officer going on television to make an announcement, you're going to mention the phrase innocent until proven guilty. You're not just going to leave it hanging in the air that there's not going to be a trial, that you're going to be guilty until proven innocent. Every time you speak, you're going to mention the phrase innocent until proven guilty so that everyone knows you're going to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, regardless of what's being talked about. The same with members of the media. If you're a member of the media, and I'm all about freedom of the press, but it's incumbent upon members of the press to re-emphasize and reinforce that every British citizen gets the right of freedom of speech. And it'd be great if we had every news show, the anchor or the broadcaster would re-emphasize the point: freedom of speech is permitted at all times by any British citizen, so that whatever they're talking about that's disagreeable is still permitted under the law. We are going to re-emphasize equal justice under the law. That means every British citizen has the same right to justice and the same protections and the same judgment under the law. And, I think we've lost that. Women, particularly young women, get different criminal penalties than men do. And, we're going to change all that. Everyone's going to be tried and judged equally under the law. We're also going to get rid of victimhood. When you're a free citizen, you have the right to control your own life, and we're not going to allow these victim groups to have such a prominence in society. If you definitely have freedom of speech. If you do not like living in Great Britain, you are permitted to leave at any time, and you're permitted to come back at any time. There's lots of countries in the world that love victims. They love victimhood. They love talking about victimhood. I encourage victims to go to those places. We're going to have a total right to life and restoration of family values. We're going to strengthen marriage. We're not going to be celebrating the fact that we have one of the highest divorce rates in the world, one of the lowest marriage rates in the world, and plummeting birth rates. That's not something to celebrate. We're going to be top of the league in all those things, and all British citizens are going to have a total right to life, and that includes the unborn. I also propose we move Parliament out of London. I want to have a separation between politics and the financial centre, and in Britain both of those are in central London. I'd be open to having a kind of a mobile Parliament, so every Parliament, it's in a different place in the country. Any city, just build a building, that's where Parliament will be for the length of that Parliament. And then by the time the next Parliament comes in, it'll be in a different place. And I think it'll bring politics and democracy to much more of the grassroots level. And we want to get rid of all this career politician, careerist government culture. And we want to make it much more about grassroots. Elected leadership is a temporary privilege. It's not a way of life. And I think that would send that message. We totally want to have sound money, and by doing that, we need to get off the US dollar as the reserve currency. We need to go back to gold. We need to totally control our own money, and we're not going to be dependent on the United States dollar, which is depreciating every second. It's runaway debt over there, and it's financial irresponsibility on a mass scale. And I'm going to do some more videos on this coming up, but Britain is vulnerable right now because the pound is tied to the dollar as the world reserve currency, and it's being diluted every second that I talk here, and it's not going to be too long before it's worth absolutely nothing. And then finally, we need to have we need to reinforce our separation between church and state. We need to reinforce religious faith in daily life, so we have people who are no longer worshipping the government and instead, worshipping the local level with their communities and strengthening community relations. So the goal here is to have an anti-lockdown party that runs a general election and wins. The anti-lockdown or no lockdown name is not something I particularly like. I want to be in favour of something like Freedom Party or Liberty Party. But in these times, anti-lockdown, everyone understands that, and it's a banner everyone can gravitate towards. And, obviously having a reinforced Bill of Rights produced, debated with all the British people and all the relevant stakeholders, and then signed at Runnymede by Queen Elizabeth. I think that would be an incredible achievement, and I want that to be something that people are thinking about and working towards. So I hope you like this video. Please subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. We'll look forward to talking with you soon.